The Stories of Craexus. A Prologue. Many moons had passed since Amara Argentstar defied the elders of Elfhin and vanished into the whispering embrace of the forest. Many months of relentless training, of honing her skills with blade and bow under the tutelage of the enigmatic Order of the Silver Star. Months of chasing whispers of a growing darkness, a creeping shadow that threatened to engulf the very fabric of reality. The prophecy, the burden she'd chosen to bear, had proven more terrible than she'd ever imagined. A new malevolent agent of the Shadow Nexus had risen, twisting the land and corrupting its inhabitants in this part of the Sunderlands. The wind howled a mournful dirge across the plains of RADVenture, once a vital part of the Kingdom of Ner. Now, it is a desolate wasteland stretched before Amara, a chilling testament to a recent, horrific event. Charred timbers, skeletal remains of buildings, poked through the blackened earth like accusing fingers. Wisps of smoke still curled from smoldering ruins, the acrid scent clinging to the air. Bodies, clad in the distinctive armor of Ner soldiers, lay scattered like fallen leaves, their empty sockets staring sightlessly at the merciless sky. The people of RADVenture was known to be resilient, but they deserved better than this from fate. Amara, cloaked in the tattered remnants of her leather armor, surveyed the devastation with a heavy heart. They were too late. Something has come here, taken toll of the land and people, and fled with an important item. The once sheltered Elfhin warrior scanned the surroundings. She wasn't afraid. Fear had long been a luxury she couldn't afford. Yet, a nagging doubt gnawed at her. Was she truly that warrior? The key to all of this? This is just too much death. She tried to shake the doubt away. She wasn't alone though. Beside her stood Kael, a rugged bear man. Their bond, forged in the crucible of countless battles, was as strong as any mithril chain. They had become quite a story whispered on many songs. The Elfhin and the bear, protectors of the vulnerable and scourges of the wicked. Tonight, however, a different kind of tension hung in the air. Amara fiddled with the silver amulet that hung around her neck, the same one gifted to her by the mysterious figure all those years ago. It pulsed faintly, an unsettling warmth radiating from its surface. Amara had honed her skills into a weapon's edge, mastering the ancient Elfhin fighting style, and wielding the amulet's magic, a constant reminder of her responsibility. But victories were fleeting, overshadowed by the relentless tide of darkness. Exhaustion gnawed at her bones, but she has little time left. A single, gnarled oak, its branches twisted and blackened, stood defiant in the center of the carnage. Amara approached it, her boots crunching on the brittle bones scattered beneath her feet. Placing a hand on the rough bark, she closed her eyes, picturing the life that had once filled this place, the laughter of children playing, the rhythmic hammering of artisans at their craft, all these under the constant threat of monsters. Now, only silence remained, broken by the mournful cry of a lone raven circling overhead.
"Are we making any difference?"
she whispered to Kael, who stood beside her, his features grim. He had become her closest companion, a fierce friend with a noble heart. Kael met her gaze, his eyes reflecting the turmoil within her.
"We fight for what remains,"
he said, his voice rough.
"and for a future we may never see."
The Anthro, sensing more to her unease, placed a hand on her shoulder.
"What is it, Amara?"
he asked, his voice a steady rumble beneath the howl of the wind.
"The amulet,"
she said, her voice barely above a whisper.
"It hasn't thrummed like this since."
She trailed off, the memory of the final battle against Veronos still raw. They had emerged victorious, but whispers of a new threat lingered in the taverns and marketplaces they frequented.
"Since Veronos' defeat,"
Kael finished, his voice grave.
Since his threat of a greater power rising.
Amara nodded, a shiver running down her spine. The amulet had been silent for months, a comforting reassurance that the fight was over. But tonight, its resurgence felt like a harbinger of something darker to come.
So, he was speaking the truth after all.
Kael mused, his brow furrowed in concern. Amara shook her head, uncertainty gnawing at her. The prophecy, the one the mysterious figure had spoken of, had remained frustratingly vague. Amara had defeated a shadow agent, but did that mean her fight was truly at an end? Or was there more to the tapestry of fate? Something darker lurking just beyond the horizon? As if in answer to her unspoken fear, a sudden gust of wind ripped through, extinguishing the flickering flames around them. In the distance, a low growl echoed across the far trees, a sound that sent a tremor of fear through even the most seasoned warriors. Kael gripped the staff, his stance resolute.
Whatever it is,
He said, his voice firm despite the tremor in the ground.
we face it together.
Amara met his gaze, her resolve mirroring his. They had faced countless dangers together, and she knew facing them without him was unthinkable. With a shared look of determination, they turned towards the sound, ready to meet whatever new threat the night might bring. Embark on a heart-pounding adventure with an unlikely fellowship. Dremsey Taoramaga, a stoic Onhee warrior, finds his loyalty tested when a monstrous threat engulfs his homeland. On the brink of defeat, he's saved by a curious duo, Amara Argentstar, an Elfhin warrior whispered to be a child of fate and prophecy, and Kael Arckitos, a bearman from the distant land of the Anthros. Together, this unlikely fellowship embarks on a quest that will take them beyond treacherous places, where ferocious beasts and nightmarish creatures lurk. Their journey will forge new alliances, test their courage, and unravel ancient secrets that could change the fate of the lands. Join Dremsey, Amara, and Kael as they face thrilling battles, test the scales of fates, forge unlikely bonds, and fight for a future brighter than even the stars. Will Amara fulfill her destiny? Will Kael overcome his tragic secrets? Can Dremsey live up to the tenets of his honor? Is their fellowship the one destined to overcome the darkness that threatens the world? Subscribe to hear this story unfold. The World of Craexus, a tabletop role-playing game. The rules and game manuals along with the storybooks are available at drivethrurpg.com.